Hello, and now we're going to learn about tuples and lists. Now a tuple is just a list of objects or data. So here we have 1, 5, 1, 8, 20. So this is a tuple containing 3 values. The first one is 1, second one 8, third one 20. Now if you want to access the first one, it is not index number 1, it's index number 0. Everything starts at 0 in programming. Alright, so 0 will get you 1. And what do you think index number 1 will get you? Well, yes, you're right. It will give you number 8. Alright, and then index number 2 is the third one. Okay, now lists do the same thing as tuples. So we have something like this. Oh. Alright. There. Okay. Now, let us say we assign a list to a value. Our list equals hello, hi, hey. Okay. Now, oops, I forgot a quote. Hey. Okay. Now our list. There we go. Okay, now you can access anything in that list by just like you would if it was actually there. So our list basically just brings up this thing here. And if you have that thing here and you put a 0 at the end of it in a list, then you'll get hello. And I'll prove it to you. There we go. Alright, now if you want to change one of the values of your list, let's say we want to change hello to the word yo, because that's also a decent way to greet someone, especially if you're using slang. Alright, so you say our list 0 equals yo, our list. And then you see your new list. It's the same thing except yo is now replacing hello. It's a slightly updated, cooler list for a more modern generation. Alright, now let's do a tuple. Our tuple, and we'll make it the same thing. Oops. Okay. No, our tuple. Yes, but let's try and change hello to yo. Oh, look at this. Tuple object does not support item assignment, and that is the difference between tuples and lists. In lists you can go in and change things that are inside of them, but in tuples you may not. The reason for this is that tuples are a little faster for Python to handle. So if you've got an object where you know you're not going to need to change anything inside of it, or if you've got a list where you know you're not going to change anything, then you just use a tuple instead. Okay. Now there is another case where you may have a list inside of a list, or even a list inside of a list inside of a list inside of a list. You could have infinite depth of lists. So let's say we have this list here, A, B, and then another list, oops, C, D. Okay, now the first element of the list, which is index 0, would be A. Second element and index 1 is B, and the third element is not C, it's actually a list. This list here containing C and D. And I shall show you. So if we try and access element number 2, then we get the list C and D. So what if you wanted to access D? Then, well, if we just had this list and we wanted to access D, what would we do? We just do element number 1 and get D. So, what equals this? Well, we know that this equals this. So if you can add a 1 on the end of this, then you can also add a 1 on the end of this and still get this D. And here you go, I'll show you. 1. There, D. So you see this first thing here, the total list here, the 2 first gets out this list inside, and then the 1 gets out the D from that list. And you might have even more depth of lists, and then you could just keep adding on these things all at the end. Alright, and I will show you how to append to lists and concatenate lists in another lesson.